Alright, YouTube, got an update for you. I'm back in the Chevy Spark. We are at 897 miles on the fourth transmission and the last 30,000 miles in this 2014 Chevy Spark. And that's right, I said it 4 transmissions since I bought this car about 30,000 miles ago. Can't say I'm very satisfied with my purchase, but here I am going down the road again. It's a little rainy, as you can see, and in any case, the car's got, I guess, about 89,000 miles total. I got it at about 50, 58, 59, something like that. Might have 88,000 miles, something like that, but in any case, so since I last left the video, they put another transmission in. I got 1,500 miles out of the last one, so I'm halfway there now. I'm getting a little nervous. And I have no idea. They never gave me a reason why it blew up within 1,500 miles. I was very gentle on it. I drove it like a grandpa, to be honest with you, because I was trying to not have the transmission blow up. And since they put the fourth one in, I've warmed the car up every morning because it's still kind of cold. It's February. Excuse me, January, February months. So it's still kind of cold, 20, 30 degrees in the morning when I get up. So I'll start the car and let it warm up. I always felt like the transmission or the car in itself would hesitate greatly when I started it up and tried to drive it when it was completely cold. It was almost like it was in a restriction mode or some kind of software that wouldn't allow the car to take off until it was fully warmed up, and I always thought that was to protect the CVT. So now I warm the car up every morning, or anytime I drive it, really. Can't say that it's driving exactly the same as it always has. According to the Chevy, they put the software package in. Again, this will be the 4th time they said they did it. But this is the only time since I've gotten it back after the transmission that it gets less gas mileage. As you can see, it's only getting a 34.8. And obviously I don't have a heavy foot. You can see the way I drive. I drive like this all the time. Before I was getting steady 38 miles a gallon everywhere I went. Sometimes I get a little better than that. I have not yet to see it get better than 35 miles a gallon since I've gotten it back, which I'm fine with. If 3 miles a gallon less allows the transmission not to blow up, I'll be very happy with that. I am trading this car in and getting rid of it because obviously I've put new front struts, springs, 3 wheel bearings, front and 1 in the rear, and I've actually done the front one twice because according to Chevy, and I bought the parts from them, that some parts just aren't that, I forget the word he used, but some parts are just defective. That was what they told me, and I still had to pay for those parts the second time too. But I guess that's Chevy's way. Some things are just defective, and during those four transmissions, they never once offered me any towing after the transmission blew up. Even after it blew up after 1,500 miles. I had to get it there myself on my own coin. They never offered me a loaner car, even though they warranted the transmission themselves. Never offered me a thing. I missed weeks and weeks of work. And aside from that, obviously I had to bum rides everywhere. A total about, in the past 6 or 7 months I've owned the car, I think a good 2 of those months I didn't have a running vehicle. Because it took about 2-3 weeks per transmission. Just to get the parts, and and they don't exactly jump right on a warranted car if they're not getting paid for it. Even though they did charge me for the so-called software upgrade, that was $200, which they didn't do the first time, even though they said they did. The second time they charged us for it. The third time they said it was already done, and the 4th time they did it again. So that's how much these mechanics know about what they're doing. They have no consistency, and the Chevy dealership never called me, never made any attempt to make things right. I had to leave phone calls at the GM hotline, which they're very apologetic and listen very well. But obviously, that's one thing. That's all they do is listen. They don't offer anything in return. They never offer me any compensation as far as anything at all. So, in any case, that should tell you something about who you're dealing with if you buy a Chevy vehicle. I mean, I love Chevy vehicles, and this isn't their high premier, car, but it was never meant to be when I bought it. It was meant to just get me from A to B, and it cannot do that very satisfactory at all. I mean, it's one thing if you buy a car that, it's $100,000, has all the bells and whistles. Great, you've paid for all the toys, good for you. But I bought one with a very basic car for a very basic reason. It was just for transportation. And so in any case, it does not perform. I don't know about the new Chevy Sparks, and I don't want to deter you. I'll make you feel bad if you own one of these cars. But and I said this in my previous video, but please, if you're about to buy one, don't. And if you already own one, just be careful. If it starts to show any issues, see what kind of warranty that they can give you, even if it's not within warranty, because apparently Chevy is required to. I was told they're required to replace any transmission on these vehicles to up to 120,000 miles, regardless, because their transmissions are garbage, and they know it. So they're required to do that. So 120,000 miles or less, they have to put a new transmission in your car if it's bad. And I have a warranty on this transmission, obviously. Supposedly, I think it's 3 years. Initially, it was unlimited miles. I seriously doubt that I can't find that on any of my new paperwork for my new transmissions. But the initial original was unlimited miles. But see how much that stands up when it comes down to it. But in any case, thanks for listening. You guys have a good night.